Back to the Krypton Report with our second episode of Supergirl Season 2, Last Children of Krypton, directed once again by the amazing Glenn Winter. I am your host, Tyler, and with me is the most awesome, beautiful woman in the galaxy, and that is...
Hey guys.
Janine. Right off the bat, I was happy with the monologue that they replaced that really odd shot of like silhouetted Superman with a shot of Tyler to help really solidify, hey, this is that Superman that we referenced in the beginning when she talks about her cousin grown up.
Yep.
I was like, good. Now we can stop saying, why is the sun in his face and I can't see who it is? But right off the bat, that opening scene of just the two of them together smiling and flying and just looking like they're having a great time, it just puts that big goofy smile back on my face, and I'm just like, yes. And when they go to stop that robbery, and I'm just like, could you imagine being those guys? We're getting away. They start to drive the car. Oh, Supergirl, back up, back up, back up. Superman. And then they get out and start shooting the gun.
I mean, you have to realize that you're totally screwed at that point.
And then he had the best line ever. I never understood the hitting. If the bullets didn't work, why would the fist? like seriously, like he's gonna take the bullet and you hit him with a fist. He's gonna be like, "Ow!"
It's so funny.
Like that hurt.
I mean, once you try the bullet, I totally agree with him. Why wouldn't you just run? Try to run.
Why not just fall on your knees and I give up?
Yep, done.
And we have Wynn once again in the second episode quoting Star Wars.
Yes.
I'm like, seriously, just bring it on, Wynn. Just keep working at the DEO, doing your job, quoting the Star Wars.
He's awesome.
We have our new hashtag we should start using every Monday. Team Krypton, hashtag too much fun.
Yes.
I'm like, it just, I don't know, like...
Didn't that come from, John?
John spit it back out at her after Kara said it.
Okay, yeah.
You know, she's happy and excited, and I think sometimes the people around her forget, like, you know, her Clark is her cousin who is like her, and she always feels on the outs, and to find someone getting to spend time with him when she hasn't spent any time with him since she's become Supergirl.
Right. Well, she hasn't really spent any time with him at all. To hear her talk, like, they've just been very separate and everything, like, two different lives.
I mean, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I mean, there's that part where Alex and her argue, and Alex said, your cousin abandoned you with us.
Yep, he did, you know, he wasn't around for her. You know, so now she's got this person who is so much like who she is. And, of course, you're going to cling. It's natural. You cling to people who are more like you.
Yeah.
You do. You know, that's why you and I are married, for instance.
Yes.
And also true. Best friends, you know. It works out better that way.
It does. I mean, you're sharing common interests, or just if there's something you're experiencing and you experience it with someone else, I mean, you have an understanding of each other.
Right.
I mean, Kara doesn't even think about that. I mean, she's got to be flawless. I mean, it's television. We can't write characters perfect.
Right.
So, she's like, invites Clark to crash sisters' night. Yeah. I mean, I got a lot of cousins, don't get me wrong. But, hanging out with them when they're like, hey, it's brothers' night. Hey. If it's a girl cousin, like, yeah, Sam, hey. But, I don't know. I did like that, we did get to meet Snapper Carr, which is a very interesting Snapper Carr. A little older, not who I would cast, but I got faith in the guy.
He's a good actor.
Yeah.
The guy's a good actor, for sure. We should stop saying that guy. And
Ian Gomez?
Ian Gomez.
That's what it is, right? Or Ian. I never know how people pronounce it until I hear it. I'm going to go with Ian, and then if someone says, hey, it's Ian, or I hear someone pronounce it that way, we'll switch to it.
That's fine.
That's how we roll.
Uh-huh. So,
Fake it till we make it.
Ian Gomez has been in various other things, and everything that I've seen him in, he's done a great job. Wasn't it my Big Fat Greek Wedding? He played a completely different character. He was Ian, actually, the character's name. His best friend. His best friend is a lawyer.
I know him from something else, and I cannot think of what it is. It's killing me.
Yeah. Anyway, so he was really good in that, and he was a completely different character in that. So to see him doing this and going from that character to this character is very, very cool. You know, obviously it's been a while since that movie, but still.
I think this might be the best on-screen version of Metallo we've ever had.
Yeah.
We've never had a cinematic Metallo. So this Metallo was really close. I mean, I got excited when Kara hit him with her eye beams, her heat vision, and melted his hand, and we saw like the skeleton-looking thing. And
yes.
As my friend Zach Moore from the Always Hold On a Small podcast said, he wants to see the Terminator-looking Metallo, full-on endoskeleton, you know. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't think they have the budget for that. Yeah. So they go with just, hey, skin. But the being able to shoot the beam was awesome. Just pure, like a kryptonite laser. And I feel like I should have done more damage.
I was going to say the same thing. Like, it was such a powerful laser that I definitely feel like I should have crippled them more.
I mean, if I can just pull out a piece of kryptonite and they're like shaking and like,
Well, you saw they had like the dark veins like going through their skin too. So to me, it's like it would almost, in my mind, should almost be something that would just kill them.
Yeah, I mean, they took it like a champ.
Because kryptonite is so poisonous to Kryptonians, so it doesn't make any sense to me as to why that wouldn't be a stronger effect on them.
We could get into the pseudoscience later if we felt like it, but you know what? We don't feel like it right now. Maybe it was a weak radiation laser. Maybe they didn't have it up because it was still, like, Metallo was still in a testing phase.
Yeah.
So to speak, so.
It could have been diluted in some way, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I get that, but you've got to think about, and I guess it is with pure kryptonite more so, but like, when Superman in any other incarnation would walk up to kryptonite, it would make him weak.
Yeah.
You know, just walking up to it, or walking close to it, or having someone walking around him with kryptonite. Like, you know what I mean? So, getting kryptonite thrust at you, laser beam style, I feel like would do a little bit more than make you weak for a minute or two.
Yeah. I mean, we have that great shot of Kara getting blasted and being down and Superman picking her up, recreating the cover from Infinite Crisis where Supergirl died.
Which could have been very misleading and just photos from that.
Oh, I think it was. I mean, people were like, I saw one person be like, are they going to kill Supergirl and make this Superman this series? I was like, seriously, dude. Seriously.
Yeah, no, I don't think they're going to do that.
I mean, like I said last season, if they brought him in or had something, it would have been cool to do the reverse and have Superman die and have Kara holding his body.
Yeah.
And having that as a new dynamic that Kara now is alone and she has to cover more ground because Superman's no longer around.
It would be different.
It would be different. But in hindsight, I like this Superman too much. Don't kill him. Keep him. Let's see more.
Please, yeah. I definitely want to see
I don't feel like he upstaged Kara either. Like, I liked them both. It was just great to see a really good version of Superman.
And a really good version of Supergirl.
Yeah.
Like, she's fantastic. I will say this. Melissa Benoist.
Yep.
Yes. She's awesome. She does Supergirl very, very, very well. I have never seen another on-screen Supergirl that I like. Really, that I like at all, to be honest with you. The girl from Smallville, she's not bad.
She was alright.
She was okay.
It was a really different interpretation.
But I definitely feel like this Kara, takes the cake.
Now, the good thing is, when we talk about Kara, and we talk about Smallville, what's funny is we can use their names, because on Smallville, she was referred to as Kara.
Kara, yeah.
And then here it's Kara. Mm-hmm. So we can talk about them back and forth.
Yes, we can.
Now, what about when Superman was, like, eyeing Martian Manhunter down and When's like, they're about to throw down. And everyone's like, looking, and he's like, I was like, front row and center for them too. Then we got we are Cadmus, here to destroy aliens. That wasn't cool. Cadmus is going to be a problem.
Well, yeah, Cadmus is already proved to be a problem, because we know that Jeremiah isn't Cadmus. We've known that for a little while.
Are we thinking Cyborg Superman? Because that's what everybody thinks.
I don't know. I'm thinking that he's working with them, and I don't think that they have altered him. So that's my thought process. I think that they needed a brilliant mind, and he was the brilliant mind that they pulled in. Because even though Alex is a DEO agent, obviously she's extremely smart. Obviously she has a lot of knowledge. And we don't know what Jeremiah... Do we know exactly what Jeremiah did in the DEO?
Not really. I mean, we know...
So he could have been more of a science-y character.
Because the fact was he was studying aliens. We know, like, a short history that the Danvers befriended Superman and were studying Superman, and we're learning about aliens, and he was working with them. The DEO was formed to stop it, bad aliens. That's why Clark trusted them when Kara arrived.
So if he was studying aliens, obviously he is a science figure of some sort. So maybe that's why they took him to Cadmus, is because they needed him. They needed his skills.
I mean, could you imagine if he is Cyborg Superman, and we have a scene of getting new Superman fighting Cyborg Superman with the Atom?
That would be intense.
So there's that superly awesome scene where Supergirl flies down and, like, goes behind something and changes into Kara like that.
Yes. When she's coming into the office.
Yes. And then
and that's when she's late, too, for Snapper.
And they recreate that later when it's Clark, which was awesome to see. But man, when Superman decides that he was going to leave and just head back to Metropolis, I love when Wynn just gave him a hug.
Yes, it was adorable.
That
makes complete sense, too, with Wynn's character, just how he's so crazy about Superman. I think it was like one of those fangirl moments, for lack of a better term.
I want to see that show, just Superman and Wynn fighting crime and being buds.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, Clark, Superman, gets all the kryptonite.
Yes, which is awesome, because that means that was kind of like a peace offering, I feel like, from John to him.
Yes.
It was John's way of saying, hey, I trust you.
One thing I always wanted, I liked in Man of Steel that there was no kryptonite. There was the whole atmosphere, but they didn't get the chance to really play with it. But the idea of a world with Superman with no kryptonite.
Yeah.
Bring it in later, not right up front. So now that he has all the kryptonite, it would just be maybe something we can do to just make things more interesting. Now, of course, we have Kara turn in her report to Snapper, and he says to report to him. He was impressed by her work on the Metallo story.
Yes.
Of
course, she's up close and personal, so she knows what she's talking about.
Now, one thing is, we're not going to see Kara's office that she got from Kat.
Yeah.
Because she's going to be a reporter, which I think is odd that she gave her that office, but now she's not going to be in it.
Yeah.
And we're not going to have, the base of operations at Catco for Team Supergirl when it was the three of them. And was it weird that Jimmy wasn't even in this episode to the last shot?
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
And now Jimmy's going to be the new cat? Head of Catco?
It was really weird. Just basically, mainly because, the last episode, it was so centered around Kara and Jimmy and their relationship and everything, and we get none of that this episode. We don't even get, a good closure or anything on that.
So, I'm just kind of, I don't know, I just feel like, is Jimmy going to get the short end of the stick, or are they going to screw up his character this season?
He might.
With the whole Guardian thing that we know of?
Yeah, that.
And then, of course, the episode ends with soon-to-be-named Mon-El waking up and attacking Kara.
I mean, which you know that it's just a reaction. It's not like an actual thing where he's, like, actually attacking her. It's just like a go-to reaction.
I'm still saying there's going to be something more. I'm thinking of a Mon-El, Ha-El thing, but we'll see. I mean, that could be a cool plot. Bring Superman back. Now, here's something for our listeners who maybe watch Arrow. And one of the past episodes of Arrow, we see that weapons were stolen from Ameritech. Jania, are you familiar with Ameritech, the company, in the comic books?
I am not, no.
Ameritech was the place that wanted weapons built by John Henry Irons.
Okay.
So what if we got Steel involved somewhere?
Interesting.
I'm not sure where he would show up and how, I think cracking Steel as a character would be difficult because over the years they've made him more advanced to where he's more like an Iron Man.
Yeah. So we don't want to do that cliche lookalikes, act like...
Because we already have Adam who has this interesting suit, but I think Steel could be a really cool character.
Yeah. It could be, as long as they do it right.
So what would you give this episode, Last Children of Krypton, as a rating?
Okay, well, for me it was probably more of a 7.5.
Wow, out of 5?
Oh, out of 5? We're doing out of 5. I thought we were doing out of 10.
We're going to do it out of 5 this season.
Oh, okay. All right. Remind me of that.
I know, we changed our ratings around too often.
Yes, we do. Okay, so out of 5. Okay, let's retry that. And we're doing stars, right?
Yeah, shields. Same thing.
Okay. Yeah. So, sorry guys. We're doing out of 5 shields.
Yes.
Okay. I would say probably a 3 then. It was a good episode, but there seemed to be missing parts for me. I liked the introduction of Snapper Carr. But like you were talking about, I'm not a huge fan of the fact that they just left Jimmy to the very end. I love the moment between Kat and Kara, and I thought that was really awesome. So there were things that I really liked about the episode, but like I said, it felt like we got a lot of information in our first episode.
Yes.
We got a lot of story, a lot of like bombastic, interesting moments. And then we come to the second episode of the series, or of the season, and it's like more watered down, and kind of like they're trying to pick up the pieces of the first episode. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it was a little bit more choppy for my taste. But still a good episode.
Okay. I would give it a 4. Same reasons what you're saying, but I'd teeter maybe a 4.5 just because Superman's there. And I'm loving Tyler's Superman.
Yes, he is great.
But now, this is the big part we have to discuss, like you and I have been talking about. And every time we start to talk about it, it's always, hold on, wait, hold on.
Okay.
We'll call this the Tyler versus Henry. Just
yeah. Oh.
All right. I don't think Henry Cavill is bad. I think watching Henry do other things and just seeing him in general, he's a great choice for Superman. I just think the scripts they're giving him are horrible. Like, to bring out the character of Superman. They're like, no, Henry, don't smile. Don't look like you're having fun. Be hard.
Basically, be Batman in a Superman suit.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. Watch BVS. There's cool Superman stuff. But really, what thrives in that movie are the Batman scenes.
Yes.
And I'll say that Affleck's a great actor, but it's because I think Snyder's happy to be doing Batman. It's a character he likes more and has a stronger idea and vision for than he did for Superman.
I think Superman's a hard character for directors to get their mind around.
No, I got this.
Yes, Tyler, I know you would have it down there, but actual directors out there in Hollywood right now, you know, they want grittier characters, let's be honest. You know, a lot of them seem to thrive on those types of characters, right?
Right.
So, with this character of Superman is hope. Superman is light. Superman is everything that Batman lacks as far as, you know, like the happier side of Batman. You know, and that's why they're beautiful together, to be honest.
Yeah. 2 sides of the same coin, but the good sides.
Yes, both it's a good coin. But anyway, so my point is, when Batman is more of a relatable character, he's more of somebody that you could put yourself in his shoes. As far as characterization goes, Superman is the idea that we strive towards.
Yes.
You know, he's a character that's out of this world, and I'm making all kinds of puns here, yes. But, you know, it's hard to go up and away like Superman, you know?
You're amazing.
But, so I think that Snyder's having a hard time reaching for that, and that's why we're getting more of a gritty Superman, more of a darker kind of vibe from him, because a lot of directors really don't know how to take the Superman character anymore and make him the hopeful, iconic, happier Superman that we need, you know, and that we really want to see. I don't want to see Batman Superman, you know?
Yeah.
I want to see Superman.
I mean, that's why everybody made a big deal that it looked like Superman was actually smiling in the picture of the Justice League. He's got like a happy grin on his face. It's like, that's what he's supposed to look like.
Yeah, Superman is not a straight-faced, I'm gonna beat your butt kind of character. He's this seems like a really nice guy, but could annihilate me in 2 seconds character, you know? He's more complex. He's more, he's just a better character than what we're receiving in the movies, and we're seeing it in the TV show better than we are in the movie universe right now.
You know, we've talked about, we see it in Henry in the movies. There's little glimpses of Superman in his performance, but he hasn't really been given anything to do. And I made some notes here to talk about just his characterization of Superman, and we're using it as comparison contrast because I feel like they've nailed it so well with Tyler.
Yeah.
I mean, granted that the idea of Henry's Superman is he's just starting compared to Tyler's been doing this for like 12 years.
But I mean, also look at the tone, okay? Because the tone of Supergirl, he's coming into Supergirl, okay?
Yes.
Supergirl is a happier, lighter tone show.
Correct.
Okay? When they made Man of Steel, like we talked about before, was kind of based around the idea of Christopher Nolan's Batman.
Man of Steel gets beat for 2 ways. Well, maybe 3. 1, it's the antithesis of Superman Returns.
Yes.
Everything people complain about Superman Returns, they did the exact opposite. 2, they were making it in the vein, like you just said, of the Dark Knight trilogy films.
Yeah.
You know, they market it as like produced by Christopher Nolan of the Dark Knight series. And this is Man of Steel came out 1 year after Rises.
Right.
And then the other thing was, it wasn't intended to be the first movie of the DC Cinematic Universe. Mm-hmm. Originally, it was going to be Green Lantern, but that bombed, and they just wanted to go ahead and make a standalone Superman film. Right. But then they decided to go ahead and make it the first entry in the DC Cinematic Universe, so BVS got bombarded with a lot. But here's some things to think about. With Henry's version of Superman, I feel like there's a lot of legacy that's lost. First of all, we don't have a Fortress of Solitude. No. We no longer have Jor-El. Right. His knowledge, his guidance. Superman's blind. He doesn't have any of his Kryptonian technology. And the Kryptonian technology was a big part of what helped him come back to life in the Death of Superman comic. Right. So we don't have Jimmy Olsen even. Yeah. They killed him off. I mean, there's some theories about that, but let's just look at, they killed Clark Kent with Superman. Now, Superman might be able to come back, but they can't pull off anything to bring Clark back. You know, they had his funeral. So Clark is dead. His world is dead. We never really got to meet this Clark Kent. And I say that because I think we have like 2 tiny scenes with him with Perry White. Yes. And then the extended version, we have him interviewing some people. But mainly when he's Clark, he's interacting with Lois. Yes. Even when he's Superman, he's interacting with Lois. He never gets to address or talk to other people as Superman other than Batman. See, this is the problem that I had with Man of Steel, okay? Like I talked to you about before. You know, it really was a very quick movie. Just like BVS. BVS is the same kind of idea. I enjoy Zack Snyder. I really, really do, okay? But the man directs in montages. I was about to say, what did you tell me today when we were talking? Solomon was watching that Superman 75th anniversary cartoon. And I said,
she loves.
It's 2 minutes of bliss. And I said, hey, I was joking, and I said, this might be the best thing Snyder's ever directed. And you said, that's because it's one giant montage.
Yes. And that's what he does. He directs in montages. But what happens, okay, montages move so quickly. They really do. They're pieces of stories slammed together.
It's imagery.
Yeah.
More than it is dialogue.
And his imagery's gorgeous. Don't get me wrong, okay? I mean, he's got some beautiful shots. One of my favorite parts of Man of Steel is it's a flashback from when Clark he's just saved the bus. And the parent comes over to the Kent's house, the Kent's farm, with her son.
Mrs. Ross?
Yes. And there's a shot right after that where
Coffee pot?
Yeah. The coffee pot set down, and then the coffee mug, and then like the doors, like you just see like these little montage shots of just like these split-second things, and then, you know, Dad's outside with son talking about, hey, you know you shouldn't be doing this kind of thing. But anyway, that's one of my favorite parts of the movie, and it's a montage. It's a visual montage, and it works visually very well. But when you put it to a story and you're trying to develop a character, it's almost impossible to understand that character. And so what we've got in Man of Steel is we have little snippets of Clark Kent before Lois, but then Lois comes into the picture so quickly, and then it just becomes about Clark and Lois. And we're not getting any of who is Clark Kent.
Yes.
Who is he by himself? Mm-hmm. And the same thing happens with Batman v Superman. We go into Batman v Superman, and we get a lot of Batman, because obviously Batman's being introduced. It's important that we have that.
But it's like we never got really introduced to Superman.
Exactly. There's this missing movie that needed to happen where we had the introduction to Superman's beginnings, and then we have Superman arcing into this guy that, you know, he's everyone's hero.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We needed a movie where he was everyone's hero. And then Batman v Superman comes into play, and it goes downhill from there. We never saw the rise for the fall.
And with that same thing, some of the scenes that are great, but yet make me angry in BVS is we see Superman fly to the people who are being flooded, and he's hovering above there. Why can't we see him save them?
Right.
Why can't we get the shot of him swooping in and picking people up from their houses, or freezing the water to stop it, or building a dam? And then we have the scene of him watching the place being burnt during the Day of the Dead, and then the next scene is him bringing it down. Why couldn't we have gotten a shot of him flying in, the girl freaking out, and he'd be like, "Don't worry, I got you." And then we see her like run up to him and him hold her, and then he flies down with her.
Right.
And he tells her, like, "You're safe." Instead of just seeing him hover down and, you know, that whole scene, it just gets to me. I mean,
here's the thing too. I feel like in that flooding situation, he wouldn't just be hovering there. Like, he would be hurrying his butt up to save as many people as he possibly could.
Exactly. He'd be flying in fast.
Yes, he's not just hovering there like some kind of angel. You know, like, he's actually trying to save people, and that's what we're lacking. We're not seeing that. We're seeing the product of that.
It's all inferred.
Right.
We don't want to be inferred. We want to see it.
Right. We're not seeing Superman in action, and that is sad.
Yes, it is. And like the last few parts I had was with the way they've done it. We've taken out Smallville. With Clark being dead, we'll never have Pete or Lana or anything more of his history or childhood there. The Daily Planet's pretty much gone unless we use Lois to go back to that.
Right.
They killed Emil Hamilton in Man of Steel, who is important when you get into more Superman mythology, Star Labs and things. Mm-hmm. And now, announced is we're going to have Man of Steel 2, which is great. But this movie, I guess, is going to take place after Justice League. So it's going to be just a Superman movie for like the first time. Like we're not going to have any Clark.
Yeah.
Where's he going to hang out? He doesn't have a Fortress of Solitude. Can't really go to an apartment. He's just going to hang out on the farm. Hope no one sees him.
Yeah. seems like they've stripped a lot away from his character. Once again, because we're directing in montages, we're getting these very quick storylines that are just smushed together in these movies. And that's the reason why I have a hard time with these movies. I love them, don't get me wrong. I do. Because I absolutely love Cavill as Superman. There's something about him, and I will always say this, the man acts with his eyes.
Yes.
Okay, and a lot of Superman for me is in the eyes, you know? There's this constant look of hope and just and he's kind of got this like sadness to him, like he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders.
Especially in Man of Steel, in the scene where he gets the beer thrown in his face and he just turns him, they throw the beer can at him and he's just like he could like destroy that dude.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, he really does have the weight of the world on his shoulders, you know? So.
And last bit of information we got that Snyder released that behind the scenes of Justice League. And the first time I watched it, I was excited because I saw Cavill in the Superman suit. But the second time I watched it, we also get a shot of Cavill in the black Superman suit.
Okay.
Now, the black suit's always a big deal because that's what he had when he came back from the dead. I'm not a huge fan of it. I think in this, like, where does he get this suit? He has no fortress to make this suit.
Right.
We saw the black suit in Man of Steel when he had his little nightmare thing with Zod. He was in a black suit. And, I mean, frankly, the BVS Superman suit's such a dark blue, you could use it as his resurrection suit. But he got a new suit for BVS, but there's no dialogue that acknowledges it. Right. I mean, we look at, I hate to keep going back, but when we get a new suit in Dark Knight, we acknowledge why we needed the new suit.
Right.
I mean, we know that they use different suits and costume changes to market a film with a particular image and sell a different toy.
Right.
We know that. It's okay. But I don't care about the black suit. But I just wanted to bring that up. It was exciting to see just Cavill and behind-the-scenes footage, to know that he is in Justice League. We know that. We just want to see him in Justice League.
To finish up the comparison between Tyler and Henry, okay? Tyler gives us the characterization, the way he's written, he gives us the hope that we're looking for in Superman. He really gives us that good old boy as Clark Kent and the hope of Superman. With Cavill, unfortunately, we're not seeing enough, nor do we know enough about his character to really see that in him, to really see the true nature of Superman, you know, and that's sad.
Yes, it is.
You know, we need that. We really need to see that, Snyder.
We need that in Justice League. So, I mean, I got the benefit of the doubt.
I'm still loving him. I'm still digging him. Don't get me wrong. I'm just nitpicking here.
Now, real quick, just for curiosity stuff, I was looking at some things, and we were talking now. We were looking at we ran across an article talking about how short Michael Keaton was when he played Batman. And we were talking about how they got Ben Affleck, who's 6'4", as Batman now, and that he's a little taller than Cavill. So I just made a quick note about every actor who's played Superman and their height, just out of interest. Are you ready?
I am.
Kirk Allen, we do not know. I couldn't find anything on his height. So, are you ready?
Yes.
Dean Cain, 6 foot.
Okay.
Gerard Christopher, 6 foot. John Newton, 6 foot. Tyler Hoechlin, 6 foot.
Okay.
George Reeves, 6'1". Henry Cavill, 6'1". Brendan Routh, 6'2". Tom Welling, 6'3". Christopher Reeve, 6'4".
Wow.
And how tall am I, Jania?
6'3". Exactly.
I should be up here. But that's just something cool to think about, because to me, he needs to be tall.
Well, of course. I mean, he's a man who's bigger than life. You know? He's supposed to be the strongest.
Tall, dark, and handsome.
Exactly. Tall, dark, and handsome, for sure.
Just like me.
Out of this world, once again.
But we've run over and long in this episode, but there's just so much to talk about.
Yes.
We want to thank everyone for listening, and remember, look up in the sky.